What's going on, everybody? It's the Wolf, and we are back with another episode of the Wolf Has Spoken podcast. I got my guy right on cue live here with me.
Yes, sir.
You already know we coming to bring you guys a thought-provoking conversation, some education, some entertainment, you know what I mean? But we also want to still make sure that it's therapeutic and, that y'all leave here with something. We want to make this worth your time, and we want to make sure that every time you tune into us, you just feel 1% better, 1% smarter, 1% healed, 1% mentally stronger, you know what I'm saying? And this is the platform where you can find that, and we are the people that want to deliver that outcome. So let's get into it. I got my guy right on cue live with me.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, man, how's your week going?
Before we even get to ever quick, the question, 1%? That's all we aiming for? Like the 1%?
All right, so 1% each episode. So, because it's like,
by the time we get to 100
steps.
episodes, then.
Look at it like this, right?
Yeah, talk to me real quick.
If you go work out, right, you can hire a personal trainer. It's your first day in the gym. And he got
Steroids
you doing
steroids.
Of course he's on steroids.
I'm talking about me for my first day.
Oh, you have no steroids.
Right,
No steroids.
Right,
you feel me? You still have alcohol consumption from the night before.
Oh, fair.
Like you.
Okay, this is my life story.
This is
Okay,
accurate.
cool.
You know what I'm saying? Accurate information.
Literally, first time I seen you when we started the whole show. Got it. Cool. All right,
Exactly. Came in there. I seen the liquor. It was coming out of his pores.
Had to go right to the sauna.
Exactly. So with that being the case, you don't want to come in there. You didn't even last the 5 sets of pull-ups.
Talking about these pull-ups.
But I'm just saying, we talking about the gym.
Guard. I did not come here to do 5 to 10 sets of. I came here to do 3. Call it a day.
Yeah.
I do my 3 10s. And that's all.
All right, bro, but okay, so that's the 1%.
All
We
right,
want to
1%.
start people where they at in a comfortable manner so that when we start because growth is like, it's not going to always be this exponential thing.
Sure.
You know, we want it to be sequential, one bit at a time.
But consistent too.
That's where the 1%
sure.
is. So if they appeared and they was like, I'm here, and 10 episodes later they 10% better, we doing our job.
Yes, sir. Now back to your question about my week. My week is actually great. Actually, I know you said you came in, you was a little off or whatever, your energy. And I'm feeling good today, King. Nice outside. Easter tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
by the time this come out, this is gonna be like May.
Fair. So Easter was then.
Yeah.
But I'm
Today
feeling
is
good.
now.
Got some good news about professional shit, some money. But to give a notice to the current gig to bounce out, whatever. And
Doing that on a podcast is insane. What if I decide to drop this tomorrow before your 2 weeks?
It's gonna be. I gotta give a month notice too. Yeah, so.
Listen, Job, if you're seeing this, it's already too late.
This AI. This never happened. But yeah, so had a great week actually. So I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, see where how things
Well,
turn
congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. Hopefully, we could tap more into that. I'm interested in hearing how that went. For me, it's not that my energy is off.
Likewise, yes.
I just I felt jittery because I was rushing. So like I was so pressed to not be late, and I had to drop my daughter off and all of the traveling and all of that, and I was like in the house trying to figure out what I'm here, get this, grab this, don't leave this, don't leave that, and I felt like I was rushing. So when I came in, I needed to settle into the space, which is why I elected not to drop her off, because that 15 minutes that I would have been late, I decided to come on time
came in even more.
and just sit down and still take it, because I would have still needed to do that, the process, because like I'm big on how I process, especially when it comes to my energy. So that was that. But as far as in my week was cool. I had to restructure. I'm reading a book right now called Atomic Habits by James Clear, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm almost certain that that's his name. And just really working on my habits, identifying the habits that I want to improve, the ones that, I want to kind of like scale back on. And one thing for me that I'm big on is finding things that take me away from reality. But I don't get high. I'm not really a drinker. So like my vice is the game, but I'm not like a game freak. But sometimes you can overindulge environmentally. So for a while, I had my offices in the basement of my house. I had my game, like the TV. I was sitting in like a little man cave. But I'm only been living there for not quite long. So it's like I put the TV down there. I had a nice setup for the game and for my office. I don't got like the whole furnish yet. So I was be down there either working or playing a game. Sometimes if my phone would get dry, because I'm an entrepreneur, I run business, I would just find myself picking up the controller just to kill time. And then I started to overly consume, playing the game. So in reading the book, I was like, what can I do to offset this habit? Because I'm not going to change it if I keep being in that same environment. So he talks about that in the book. And he it was like to change a habit or to create a better habit is make it obvious, make it attractive, and then there's 2 other steps. But fact of the matter is to get rid of a bad habit is to like remove it from your sight. So it's like he talked about self-discipline, and self-discipline Cause like it's always funny to me. I did look at it like, you know, if you've never been challenged, then we don't really know if you got self-discipline. But he was explaining in his philosophy that the true art of it is like not even being in certain type of tempted situations.
For sure.
So it's like the most self-disciplined people is not the person that's tempted the most, it's the person that's tempted the least, which is why the numbers would show that they're self-disciplined. So for me, instead of trying to fight with not playing the game, because it's right here and I'm sitting there like, stay focused on work, stay focused on work. I'm fighting against me and the system, and it's like that little dose of adrenaline you get when you feel like a winner for that moment before you come back to reality and be like, it's a video game. No, seriously though. So, and thinking about it, I'm like, all right, well, what can I do to my environment to alter my urge to pick up this controller? So I took the TV and the game from the basement and put it in a living room. So now I'm separating work from there. And I know me. I got the kids. I got my girl. I'm not going to sit in the living room and play the game a lot. Like, I'm never going to let me do that.
I go to sleep first.
Like, yeah, you know, they're not even going to let me do that for a longer period of time. It's too many people that will have access to that space. So I said, okay, this is a more appropriate way for me to play it a little bit, but not a lot. Because I can hog the TV for an hour or two, and it's like, this is my time. But I'm not about to be on the joint for 6-7 hours being unproductive. And what it also did was now there's nothing in my basement to do but work. So as far as in my week, it literally was me getting into that, like literally changing the landscape of my basement and my living room and creating an environment where I can have a healthy habit of knowing that when I'm in this basement, I'm working. And when I come upstairs, work is done. Versus it being like, I don't know if I'm on the clock, off the clock, playing the game, not playing the game. So that's pretty much a summation of my week. Now, granted, this episode is going to come out in a month later, or even maybe 5 weeks from now to the person that's watching. So but today is my 1 year anniversary. So, yeah, so 1 year anniversary on dating, not married yet, but right in a relationship. I don't call relationships dating. Dating is dating, relationship. So my 1 year in my relationship, we dated for 6 months, then did a relationship for 1 year. So ultimately, it's been like 18 months.
On that note, real quick, so y'all came together and said, this is the date, like we're making official this day?
For the relationship?
Yeah, relationship.
Yeah, I asked her to be my girl.
Right, it's funny. Years ago, when I was talking to like one of my older friends, whatever, and I was saying like, yeah, me and my girl, we got our anniversary, whatever. And he married. He was like, you ain't married, Q? I was like, yeah, we got it. He's like, that shit don't count. What type of dumbass shit is that? Like, and I was like, nigga, like, first of all, I'm also big on just intention. Yeah. So it's like, no, this day is, so anything before this day, it don't count. It never happened. And this day move forward, no, we together. I'm making that commitment, this and that, whatever. So I think those type of things, I understand everybody don't do it, but I do think that's like a natural thing. I think it means something, whatever. You know, it should be respected such. Now, of course, marriage is different.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, of course, that's something married folk would say. Right. Because they have to minimize the aspects of a relationship because, they're married. So it's like when you say, yeah, I won a championship in college, but this person got an NBA championship. Like, nobody care about that NCAA championship. But for where I'm at in my life, this championship means everything to me. So, it's the fact that with the landscape of relationships in the world today, with the mindset, with the propaganda and all of the things that tie into it, being able to sustain a relationship with as many elements as ours have for 1 year is something worth celebrating. Now, we're not about to go all out. We did actually celebrate 6 months. Like, we really celebrated it. For the 1 year, we literally did a cleanse. We set up last night after midnight saying, this is what we want year 2 to look like. This is what we leaving in year 1. This is who I'm going to be. Who are you going to be? How does that look? And if we make it past year 2 to year 3, because each year is year to year for me. If we make it to year 3, it's going to be because we were meant to make it. We're not forcing it. We're not doing none of that. So that was like one of the things that we were I was very intentional about, and like we are adamant about in this season, where it's like, you know what? We're going to walk into this year our best selves. Like the first 4 or 5 months of our year in a relationship was like unpacking trauma. So it's like, you feel me? Then the 6 months after that was about dissolving that trauma. So it's like now, all right, cool. We understand each other. We didn't blended our families. We didn't got a house together. We didn't did all these things that is way beyond the timeline of what the average person has done. Now we have to be intentional about being a partner that we want to be to each other. And like, however that look, like I was like stressing to her last night, like, listen, man, like, I don't care what you want to do. Like when it comes to something that make you happy, I'll make the decision on if I'm happy with it, but I'm not going to make the decision on if you're allowed to be happy doing it. Meaning like, I'm not going to stop you from doing you in a sense because of whatever my, level of comfort. I will either get comfortable with it or be okay with saying, you know what, this is a determining factor that we not meant. I agree with that. But vice versa. Like, I'm not going to allow you to stop me from doing things that make me happy because they make you uncomfortable. Now, we also have boundaries and
Right.
understanding about what's disrespectful. So we're not talking about the surface of just like stupid stuff. I'm talking about like real career opportunities, real, like things like that really could be a hindrance, but somebody might not take up for the sake of their relationship. And I don't want that in my relationship. It's like, no, listen, if you got an opportunity, you know, I can find a way to be comfortable with it. If I'm not, then we understand, and vice versa. Like
For sure, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. You know, me and my girl, again, our anniversary come up about a month from today, and it'll be 9 years. And so ours is a little different because we met at 21 and 22, so literally grew into adulthood and refining ourselves, maturing, figuring out what the fuck we gonna do, how the fuck we gonna do it, what is our best selves, how does that look, whatever, how you gonna tap into that, whatever. So I feel like that was like the first maybe 4 to 5 years of that, and then you throw in a baby in the mix with a pandemic and shit like that, whatever. So I feel like the back half of the 9 years is like, it's very clear. Now let's just
I love that, bro.
attack that type shit, whatever. But then to your point about I totally agree with like the idea of like, no, whatever you want to do, you have the right to pursue that and do it. And I have the right to be like, do I want to be a part of that journey?
I reserve that right to choose for me.
Like,
you could choose for you.
Yeah, and I said, and I'm just I don't really have to think about much. You know, it's very clear, like, this ain't for me, and it could be that, whatever. So I know years ago, you know, because she's into nursing, whatever, and she just said, yeah, I think I want to do travel nursing, maybe. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That wouldn't work for me, though. Like, I'm not about to be with a long-distance relationship and travel nurse. That just wouldn't be. Now, I'm not about to tell you, you can't be a travel nurse. Like, no, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So this is where, if you want to go do that in the near future, whatever, you know, unfortunately, this is where we have to part, whatever. Like, but you know, fortunately, she didn't do that dumbass decision because we here now.
Of course, he say that.
And then you know, now it all worked out with it. But I was like very clear. There've been other iterations, and again, like I feel it's very low hanging fruit to be like, oh well, the deal breaker or boundaries. No, but again, I feel it's even more nuanced when it's about something that it could be for your betterment, but is it for the betterment of us though?
Yeah, that matters.
And, you know, possibly not. Whatever. Then you gotta make that decision.
Now, one thing I want to piggyback and insert a question into the because not even first I'm gonna say what tends to happen is, you know how we reserved our right to say, look, you could do it, but I'm not okay with it. What I've noticed with through relationship coaching, through relationships, through having women friends, and you know, just like understanding women in total, that they remove their right to do that and then feel like we forced them not to, and then when it was our time, we chose what we wanted, and they couldn't force us not to.
For sure.
And it's like, no, in both situations, we reserve the right to be okay with something or be not okay with it. In most cases, men just exercise that right.
Sure.
Where though a woman might be like, well, do I really want to go, or do I want to keep my relationship? And 9 times out of 10, they keep the relationship because to them, that is more important. Now, to us, it's not that the relationship is not important. It's that if we making a decision to better our career, we understand that ultimately betters the scope in which we are able to provide for our family. So it's like, could it be the same for them? Yes, but that's not going to be their sole purpose. They're not looking to provide for the family if they got a man. The man is going to add that element.
And the man don't necessarily care as much about you being able to provide.
Exactly. So it's like, and that's why like these conversations are not black and white. And I ain't gonna say they're gray, but it's just so subjective and so circumstantial, because it's like how you just said, we don't even care if you make more money. So you trying to convince me that the opportunity is because of more money. Notice how I said it would make you happy. I understand that it's an emotional component that's tied to their decisions. So to me, it's like, if that's genuinely gonna make you happy, go ahead. And even if the money is a part, but the money is not going to be the reason, I'm saying, yeah, you know what? You're going to make an extra 50K. Because I would just tell myself I can make an extra 50K and I'd rather have you here with me. So it can't be the money. But for us, it might be a money opportunity, because it's like, if we can't make this extra 50K, that actually is tied to how you look at me. That actually is tied to our ability to be able to do extra things. And you actually do look to me for that. So that's the difference in how we view things versus how they view things.
For sure.
But yeah, so I just wanted to tie that. I said I had a question, but it got lost on me in the context of what I just said. But it'll come back. You had something to say?
Yeah, I was going to just circle back as well, and maybe it might come back before we move. Something completely different. But even we was talking about how you situated your house to, you know, for the betterment of yourself, whatever. I know I can be obsessive. So I've always realized that. Well, I realized that a long time ago that I have to move in that way to even be productive in certain ways. Like, you know, I'm a junk food addict. Yeah. Specifically chips. I'm a chip head. Like, you know, that's how, you know, it's in my DNA. I can't fight. I be scratching sometimes. I be driving past Wawa's and Poppy stores and shit like that. Like, you know, it's crazy.
Fiending for some chips is insane.
For sure. No, it's in me. It be calling me. So I knew when I finally moved out of my mom's crib years ago, I grew up in a house where there was chips everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I knew I can't buy chips. Like I don't buy big ass family size bag of chips or whatever. Cause I knew if I do that, it's gonna be a reoccurring cycle. And not even that, it was like a weight thing. It's like, no, I just know this isn't good for you. I'm not fucking eating chips every fucking day, whatever. So I knew that I just can't buy chips. It's just I can't. I don't have the self control to have fucking big ass bags of sour cream Hers and Doritos and be like, I'll just get a few and just no. That whole bag will be gone like in a few.
Oh, you speaking to the habits?
Yeah, the habits,
Gotcha,
whatever. Yeah. So I agree with your idea of like, no, like you have to remove. If you have that personality type, you typically have to remove that game from the area to change the accessibility of it.
Yeah,
and
it's
then that'll
accessibility.
be better for you. Yeah, so I definitely understand that.
Because if you see a cookie, you probably didn't want one, but you see it, so you're like, let me just have a cookie or two.
Sure, yeah.
And these are things that he directly referenced in the book or whatever, so I want to make sure I give him his just due because I'm an author, and I know that a lot of people read my philosophies as well and then present them. For me, I always like to pay it forward to the person that gave me the info because it was insightful and it was helpful, and it was like...
especially if you had to apply it and it was helpful.
I was able to apply it. It was helpful. It was real life helpful because now at this point, it's like the first thing my daughter said when she came back home was like, "Oh, Dad, you got the game in the living room now." She didn't fuck the TV. She didn't notice that the TV was here for everybody's enjoyment. She just knew that this TV was the TV that I normally played the game on. So she attached it to that. Like, oh, he must be planning to play the game in the living room now. So I'm like, well, I put the whole TV there and the game is there as well. But like I said, it never was a game freak thing for me. It's like that little, it's stimulating for that hour or two, especially for somebody who's always thinking, always trying to come up with ideas, just to be able to unpack. And that's my really only thing. So, I am a Madden player. If anybody out there that want to challenge me.
Okay, okay. I'm ass. I don't play games at all anymore. It's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah. But I also feel another thing that'd be cool to talk or touch on for anybody listening or watching, whatever, is like how many things, I don't even know, man has a conversation before, how many things you do that are for your betterment, whether it's on a daily thing or a weekly thing, whatever. And when I was talking to my man about it, he's talking to a girl and she didn't really have good answers about this. But he was like, no, and he's like, for example, no, like I pray. And I feel like prayer is good 100%. For my spirit and my daily activity, my weekly goals, shot that. So he said, and I was like, yeah, like, well, me working out, when I'm looking for a job, I apply. When I'm looking for a job,
you go hard.
I'm looking for jobs. 20 apps a day type shit, whatever. So apply. If you're trying to look for a job, you hate your job, apply to a job. It could be good for you, whether you get a fucking callback or not, whatever. Because at least it's putting this shit out.
It's just forward motion,
Exactly, forward motion. So I would say like working out, reading, being in contact with people. I feel a lot of times people like, damn, like I feel kind of out of it or whatever. You possibly need like some extra energy from people you love, and I love you, whatever. 100%. Constantly, I'm always in contact with people, whatever, because I care about preserving contact and circles, whatever. So I'll throw it to you.
Everything you said, I agree with. As far as and I'm gonna tap into the betterment thing that you said, even in regard to relationships. But for the betterment of self, like that's literally like everything that I stand for. Like I make a goal to read one chapter a day. One chapter a day. That's the goal. I pray every day and night. And if you can't finish a chapter, because some books have long chapters, do 10 pages. And that way you can consume the information in small sizes but the information is the context. But you are able to consume the information without overload. You know what I'm saying? So it gives you that confidence, like, you know what? Because one thing about achievement, it boosts your morale. And when your morale is higher, you feel more confident. When you're more confident, you're more likely to execute. So the goal is to make things as easy as possible. Like if I say, man, if I look at a book and I'm like, man, that shit 365 pages, I'm not reading that. But if I'm like, man, you know what? If I was to read 10 pages a day, it would only take me 36 days to read. And then I'm like, you know what? I got 36 days to read this, because even reading one book can literally change your life. Actually, reading one book changed my life. So reading, praying, self-work, sitting with yourself, I'm talking about no distractions at all. Like literally, and asking yourself challenging questions without the first response. See, because if somebody asks you a question, you typically go to your autopilot response. The response that comes to your mind that you've been saying, the one that you told yourself, the one. But the thing is, the behavior could be so subconscious and unconscious now that you got to really get to the nitty gritty and ask yourself why. So it might be like, you said, I love chips. Why? Oh, why? You got to really keep asking why until you get to the root of it. Well, when did I even start loving chips? And what was it associated with? Because it could have been associated with the fact that one day you got yelled at and you got sad and you seen chips and now every time you feel like that, you attach it to eating chips, because now you don't even need to get yelled at to want to eat chips. You just, whenever you're feeling down, it could be for whatever. You ain't get the news you wanted. So doing the self-work and sitting with yourself is for the betterment, because being better is not just for you. me becoming a better man made me a better father, a better boyfriend and potential husband, a better leader, a better friend, a better son, a better nephew, because I started to become intentional about my experience in the eyes of others. So it wasn't like I was actually was like probably more a people pleaser before. I don't people please. Like I had to go because I went from never being a people pleaser, kind of being self-centered, because as young boys we could be like that, only really think about things from my perspective, to starting to see the world so like from outwards perspective that I'm starting to just making sure everybody else happy and I'm not even taking care of me, to me now knowing how to discern between the two. But in doing so, it's like, okay, I have boundaries. That's the key. I got boundaries, but at the same time, all of the things that I did to make me better made me better as a dad, made me better as a boyfriend, and now everybody that know me love and accept me for who I am. But it's not like I'm flawed and on purpose accept me. It's like everybody's flawed and this is just who I am. But at the same time, I am working to become more improved. Like I'll set a goal. Like, you know what? I want to be a better boyfriend this year. And then I say, what does that look like? All right, well, what haven't been doing that she may have been asking? What is a blank request or what is actually a substantial request? Because you got to discern between the two. I'm not about to just adhere to everything you ask me, but this makes logical sense, and I can understand the emotional toll that it could even have negative or in a positive way. So I'm gonna do these things to get better in these areas, and then I do the self work. So to that about betterment, but
and real quick to chime as well.
I was gonna throw
I like the one part you definitely said. Sitting with yourself, and it hit me. I'm like, no, like that's probably like an underrated thing itself. Cause it's funny, cause I kind of go in and out when I'm just like to myself. Whatever, I could be watching a movie, whatever. But if my mind is on something, I have to really just pause the movie, just really sit and just kind of like think about it, plan it out, visualize or whatever. It could be like money related or just ideas or whatever. That I really would just like, well, let me just pause real quick and just sit in silence and really just think about it, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's important to just sit with yourself. It could be just in the car, turn the music off sometimes, drive in silence. Just sit with this for a minute.
Oh, facts. Even before you make a decision, because I don't even drive with music. My kids and them take like I got a feel good playlist. My feel good playlist is comprised of songs that make me feel good, and it's like, and I got a play. All my playlist has a purpose. But even on my way here, I was listening to my feel good playlist. It got all of the songs that like most people probably won't listen to, but these are songs that genuinely, lyrically, music, instrumental wise, makes me uplifted.
What's one on there?
I'm the Man by Aloe Black or Alec Black, something like that.
Okay.
I'm the man.
Oh, yeah.
That make you feel good. Tell everybody.
Like, that was on the commercials. Yeah.
Exactly. Like songs like that though. Like, I got so many songs, bro. I'll send it to you. As a matter of fact, you might just tell me what you like off the playlist. But I typically do that because it literally raises your vibration. And what people don't understand about music subconsciously is that it does take a toll. Sure. Like you listening to drill music at 9 a.m. and wondering why you thinking about all your people you that done died and all of the people you that done backstabbed you and you want to hurt something. It's the music taking a toll on you. So sometimes just driving in silence, it forces you to be present in the moment and to allow your mind to race and then allow the race to end. A lot of times people mind race, but it never end because they always divert their attention to something that would temporarily distract them. And then when they not being distracted, their mind is racing. So they are distracting themselves from the race. I let my mind run the race, finish the race, calm down, think about the race, and then I be away from it. Because even when I'm having a negative thought, I literally see one thing about thoughts, right? They say on average, it was determined that we have like 30 to 60,000 thoughts a day or something like that. And don't quote me, but it's like around either one of them two numbers, right? So imagine that. It's like your mind can literally ask yourself a question, give it an answer. Think about the past, think about the future, think about tomorrow, think about the day, think about your last, think about your next. Like it can literally process all of that fast in milliseconds. And you're not even conscious about a lot of the thoughts that you have. So for me, when I became self-aware about the negative thoughts that I would have, and then when you understand the word emotion just means energy and motion. Like that's what it means, energy and motion. So it fluctuates. So that's why emotions go from happy, sad, this, that. It's a fluctuating process. So I understand that when I'm having a negative thought, it's literally in that negative state. So I capture it, but I don't hold it. And I'll be like, all right, it's going to pass. It's going to pass. It's going to pass. And I let the whole thought come. Man, fuck this. She cheated on me. She did this. I'm thinking all the way back in the past sometime like, oh, man, that motherfucker stole me money. And I'm catching myself. Then when it starts to get a little slower, I ask myself, and this is stuff that I really do in the day-to-day. I'm like, why did that make you feel like that? Why are you holding on to that? What's tied to that? Why, like, you feel me? And I might be like, sometimes I get triggered, consider my background. I get real triggered. And I had to tell myself, I'm safe. I'm safe because I get into this fight or flight, and it's like, it could be a loud boom. I'm like, oh shit, I'm safe. And I do these things, and this is for the people that are really traumatized from
sure.
real deal shit. You know, like understanding like the amount of times that I was in real deal situations, I had to really come up with real deal practices. So getting all the way back to full circle moment about sitting with yourself, I wouldn't be able to discover these things if I don't sit with myself. If I don't just sit there and be like you might do something that trigger me, and I'm like, damn, well, what is this associated with? Why did when Q said that? Why was I triggered? Like he ain't even, you know what I'm saying? And then I go through the emotion, I'm like, oh. Because it reminded me of that. So it's not even that what Q said really triggered me. It's that it sparked a feeling that was reminiscent of something that triggered me.
Right. And it's funny. I got two quick thoughts.
Oh, do you think?
Oh yeah. Like literally the other day when I was most recently just like playing some shit in my mind, visualizing, I had I don't usually have these type of mental moments where usually I can think about something, then I'm like, oh no, all right, that's concluded in my mind. I can kind of move on. But it was a very weird feeling today where like my mind was racing fast as shit. And I really didn't know why. I had to start the movie back. I had to your point about being distracted. I really had to stop thinking to like distract myself. I know why my mind was just going too fast. And I really was sitting thinking like usually, cause I agree with you. The way you described it, I totally agree with that. Where like my mind could just start and it ends. I'm done with it, move on. But my shit was just going. That shit did feel weird as hell. I'm like, I'm gonna turn this fucking documentary around. I don't know what the fuck is going on with me. Other thing to you, quick funny story about the chip shit. Literally, I pinpointed. I know where exactly it came from. So I used to go to 2 different daycares. One I love, Miss Marcy. That was a great daycare, whatever. The other joint, it actually was a better facility. It's a bigger toy. It was cool, whatever. But I hated going there. Like I would go Miss Marcy, but Miss Marcy, I don't fucking know why she's closed some days, whatever. And whenever I would go there, I would lose my fucking mind, like just crying nonstop, this and that, whatever. And my mom would give me a bag of sour cream chips, and dumbass little kid, it would calm me down. I would stop crying and totally forget that she's even leaving.
Yeah.
By the time I'm done with chips, all right, cool. Where my mom at? Gone. Crying all over again. But then it'll be less of a cry than it'll end, whatever. So when that thought hit me here, I was like, holy shit, like. That's probably why I love chips or whatever. Yeah, that shit was fucking conditioned into me to shut the fuck up.
It was conditioned. And now the environment don't even have to be the same. And again, this is like
joy and pleasure.
These are scientifically proven facts in multiple books. But, you know, it just ironic. First of all, it's dope. But it was so funny while I'm sitting here, right? I'm like, Q don't even understand that he's transcending mentally right now. The reason I'm going to tell you that is because...
We going to touch on last episode, too.
The reason I'm going to tell you that because... Q is so closed off to doing the self-development, and he's going to say that he's not, but he's doing it without trying to admit that it's happening. That's what I'm trying. So let me say it like that. He's doing it without trying to admit that it's happening. So the fact that your mind even did something different than it normally does, you're normally able to process and move on, and the fact that you actually had the thought and you was like conscious of it, you're coming into awareness, bro. So it'll be a few episodes before he be in here tearing up about the things that we gonna work you through. Like you're gonna be cool. Like
this guy, we won't get to that part. Like I had a lot of conversations about the last conversation. It was hilarious, whatever. But
yeah, you start doing it. It's called work. You start doing the self work. Start doing the work.
But no, I think this would be a cool little topic. Something I landed on. What would you say the pillars to yourself? And I was thinking about it because again, like. I've always realized I've been fortunate where I feel like, so it's going to be a few thoughts. So I feel like everybody has pillars to themselves. That don't mean every pillar is the same, whatever. But certain things that kind of keep you upright and it's the foundation for you or whatever. And if those pillars start getting knocked down, the average person is going to be a lot, it's going to take a big ass toll on you, whatever. And I've always been fortunate to be like, no, like, and before I can tell you, I feel like some people, it could be fucking basketball. Some people, ball is literally life. And once that shit ends, it's they lost. It's avoiding themselves, whatever. Some people would be relationships and friends and work, whatever. No, my job, my title, that's who I am. Once that shit in, whatever. So I realized to me, like my whole life, it wasn't really typically attached to things type shit. Like, but I knew early on my mom, my grandma, and like my dad and shit like that. And honestly, my friend circles. I'm a person that really takes my friends and associates seriously. So like when I've had certain situations like. People distance themselves or moved away or whatever. Like I remember I was a person in high school and we all went to college, and it hit me. I'm like, yo, like we not doing the same shit no more. Everybody got new different friends. We ain't like that was like a thing to me. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like, oh, like they got their own friends now, and they doing other shit now. So that was the thing to me. So my pillars, I would say, like some of the few ones is like my mom, grandma, my dad, and my friends, whatever. And I've been fortunate that they're all still intact, though. And so I was going to ask you what yours and the idea of, like, I understand with people, and I understand myself. If I ever lost my mom years ago, especially when I was a young kid, I don't know where the fuck I'd be, who the fuck I'd be with. Because that was such a big-ass pillar, whatever. So just the idea of that, and, you can speak to them yourself.
So, like, help me understand your philosophy behind pillars, so that when I'm answering, I'm within the frame of what you're asking.
Whatever I feel is you can identify in your life that I was suppose is like the most important to you, that's on a foundational level.
Okay.
That keeps you upright, and yeah.
Shoot, I gotta say, I gotta say God first, right? That's like, even though I'm not like the most religious person, right? I'm not at church every other day at every Bible study, and I'm not on that, but I'm very tapped in and aligned, and I feel a significant presence in my life. I feel extremely disconnected when I'm out of alignment. I literally don't move without guidance from God, even if it's just the energy, or it might come through actual servant of God that's like a regular person that might just say something that only God could have spoke through this person to me. So that wasn't always a big part of my life, but it became a bigger part of my life, and it's just something that I'm continuously working on, even implementing that into my relationship. Another part is family, just that nostalgia feeling, that familiar feeling. I grew up in a household with all my siblings, so it wasn't like, even though my mom was a single mom up until she met my stepdad, she had us together. Whereas though a lot of kids like grew up without their siblings because of separations and all types of situations that created that. So I would say family, and this is why I'm big on it within myself. And then purpose, bro. Everything for me, I gotta have a purpose when I'm doing it. Like, I don't care if it's playing a game. Like, I gotta be a reason. Like, I can't just do something to do it. I can't just say something to say it. I have to feel what I'm saying. And I felt like another thing you tapped into was about, like, if it came to basketball, football, stuff like that, that's like identity. And I feel like, that's the question that you have to ask yourself. Like, what are the parts of your identity that have to pass away? And what are the parts of your identity that have to grow and transcend? So what are you leaving behind? So for me, at one point, my identity was a street nigga. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I knew. That was my environment. That's what I was comfortable with. All I knew was fast money, hustle. I accepted the terms and conditions of what come with that, and that was a part of my identity. Another thing that's not even so whatever is just being a leader, always being told that I was a leader. That's a part of my identity. So sometimes when you get told things your entire life, you're a leader, you smart, you this, you that, it become a part of your identity, and you associate it with people's need for you, your need for people, and just your place in the world. So I went through a heavy space where it was just like, at one point, used to being a rapper. That was my identity. To pivoting from that and start my entrepreneur journey, and also then becoming a manager. And that still was heavily associated with music, so it was still a part of my identity. Then when I became an author, it was like a culture shock for me, because it was like I want to do the same thing as I was doing as a rapper. So now I'm an author living like a rapper. I'm in a club, I'm buying bottles, I got chains and shit on. I'm like, wait, I'm not a rapper, I'm an author. So then that became my identity. So then I'm like, wait, because I'm an author, do I have to know everything? Like, do I have to, like, I wrote these books, can my relationships be fucked up? Like, can I be human? Like, I started really, like, and I had to really go through it. Slow down. Like, you cool. Like, you wrote books. Yes, your title is an author, but that's not your identity. That's not who you are. So once I started to detach from the titles and the possessions, and, it just really becoming like, yo, you know what? I'm a man. I'm a father. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm a leader, and I do things that is purposeful to me. So when you think about my pillars, it's really just making sure that everything I do have a purpose, no matter what that is. Everything I do has to date back to family, and everything I do has to be supported and rewarded by God. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's how it all tied for me.
I like that. Did you ever think about what you want to say about the anniversary thing? Or
I mean, we'll talk about that. But I'll go. You got something?
Yeah. Did you want to? Speaking of the last episode, I don't know if you wanted to transition to what the topic we never got to about the empathy thing.
Q was trying to do this work, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. This man is out for answers.
I just want to cry so bad. I just want to cry so bad.
Something I said sparked, and it triggered something in him that made him realize that it's work to do. And first of all, come on, Ricky. Clap it up for Q.
To the work.
To the work. What y'all want? One of the things I want y'all to understand that God gifted me with the ability is to be able to understand people and also help people understand themselves. And the thing is, before I pivot into this empathy aspect, the thing about it is most of us feel misunderstood, and we feel like we are the most understanding people. We feel like we get everybody, nobody gets us. And you can feel secluded in the world and alienated when you feel like you are on a journey and a mission to understand people and nobody gets you. So when you finally run into that person or that thing or that book or whatever, that's when you feel that instant connection because you feel heard, you feel validated, you feel understood. And one of the things that I strive to do within all of my work and relationship coaching and personal development was to be more understanding, which is why the key word on my book that says cheating is not cheating, it's not even a title. It's a guide to understanding. The understanding aspect. It's like I never said that this is going to be the remedy. I never said that this is going to be. No, it's a solution for people who are looking to understand. And I feel like when you understand yourself, you arrive at this point how you feel right now, where you just want to dig a little deeper. Like I reserve the right to not say pause, but you understand what I'm saying. You want to delve deep into who you are as a person, and you're gonna cry.
So my answer to that is I actually. I went home and told a few people, like my mom, my girl, some of my friends, whatever. I like what I've come across to your point. No, let me land the plane. So to your point about, I actually like that. You know, most people are misunderstood but don't want to be understanding. So what I come across typically is that I feel like people who are getting to know me or know me from afar or whatever tend to classify me in certain ways that aren't exactly accurate or whatever. Yeah. And I just always find it interesting and amusing. Like, I'm never offended by it. I just think it's interesting. I understand I have like a certain type of personality or whatever. So certain things I say and think and they just be like, I think this about you.
I would be mad if you wasn't you. Like, we need people like you in the world.
For sure. I appreciate that. Yeah. So one thing I will like to break into this whole conversation, and one thing I thought was interesting, the whole forgiveness part we talked about last time. I went to my mom, like, I was talking to Wolf, and we was talking about like the idea of forgiveness, and the way you asked me that question, I remember thinking like, and I'm gonna stand on that. Like I thought it's like I wouldn't say I have a forgiveness issue, but I don't forgive. I can't say I do whatever.
So saying I don't have an issue, but admitting to it being an issue that you don't do it is the issue itself.
Cause it's all of you consider it an issue. Like I just stay in the fact or whatever.
Said I don't have an addiction, but I do a lot. Like what the?
Yeah, it's all about you call it addiction. I can stop it anytime I want. I can forgive somebody anytime I want to.
Well, in that regard, then I get it.
But so I was talking on one thing we landed on I thought was interesting is I realized me and my mom are different. I'm more like my dad in regards to forgiveness, whatever. Where back to our conversation about 2s and 10s. My mom, a lot of things are 10s to her. Like, you know, I told about the whole situation with me, my man owed me money, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, and she was like, oh, I never told the story or whatever. And she was like, you a nigga owe you money and you gave it to him twice. And what the fuck? Oh no, I would have to fuck him up, not talk to him again, dead to me, block him. I was like, Mom, I'm not about to disown, hate somebody, fight someone. It was $150.
It was $150.
Twice.
$300.
I agree with you. So someone I love, like if someone's like a brother to me, that means more to me than fucking $300 or whatever. Yeah. Now I'ma still protect my peace and my boundaries and hold you accountable where you can never get that from me again, whatever. 100%. But I'm not about to be on it. That's not a 10 at all to me. But she was like, no. But what we learned is what I landed on is that a lot of shit is 10s to my mom. I probably don't know anybody that has more 10s than my mom. However, if she got love for you, she probably won't stand on it though. It'll be like a 10 to a 7 over time, whatever. It may never go to a 0, but it'll drop whatever.
Because it's emotion driven.
Right. Where me though and my dad, not many things are 10s to us though. Yeah. But then once it is though, it stay at a 10 forever. Yeah. Like it's just gonna stand there, it's gonna die there, it's gonna be. And I like that's an interesting distinguishment of the type of personalities, whatever. And so that's what we land on in that regard. And I was like, so if someone ever get me to a 10, especially someone I love, it's just over. Like I'm not. And I even said, he even the way he framed it, Wolf, nasty. Nah, I'm a new person. Look at me this way. I'm like, that's an interesting situation. Right. No, fuck you. Fuck nasty. Nah, fuck all y'all niggas. No, if it was a 10, then niggas a 10 now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's understood. Yeah, that's understood.
So I think the whole, I wonder how you want, where you want to attack me, not attack me, approach me with a new conversation.
Attack you is insane.
He literally came last time with the note saying, I'm gonna attack Q and everything he said. Like, it's like no.
I said I'm a challenge.
Challenge.
No, but I'm glad that you even went through that entire process. And one of the things that you,
I'm always about passing on conversation.
I think that you acknowledge, but I don't think that you even dig that. Like what you pointed out, it's not even like just you and your dad and then your mom. It's like literally male, female. It's like, and I'm not trying to make this like one of those situations, but it's like the fact of the matter is, because their decisions can be fueled by emotion. Not saying all decisions are fueled by emotions. That's why more things can appear to be a 10 because it might trigger a 10 emotional response. Now, when the emotions subside and the logic kicks in, that's when it goes back to a 7, which is why you feel like she can't stand on it. But for us, we're not going to react off our emotion first. So if it gets me to a 10, it's definitely going to be a 10 forever because that means I went through every level of not trying to make it a 10 before realizing that you got me fucked up. And once we arrive at you got me fucked up, it's up and it's stuck type shit. So that's just a distinguishment between us and women. Like most men would say the same thing. Most men would say, "Nah, it ain't really that deep." But a woman be like, "Yes, it is that deep." Like, you know what I'm saying? Which is why we have longer lasting friendships because we're not about to not be friends with our homie because he was short on the dinner bill. We're going to bid off him. Oh, you ordered steak? You came here with $46 and you got the most lemon drops. We're not about to be embarrassed. And now we're going, man, I'm going to take care of this little thing. But from now on, we need to know how much you got before. Like, we're going to hold them accountable. Where though with them, it's just like, you should have knew better. And because you didn't know better, I'm going to punish you for life. You can't come to no more birthday dinners because you ain't had to do it. You had the most and put up the least.
For sure. That's definitely all fair. But I was also more harping on the point of like the whether man or woman. I think again to bring by myself, like I understand that I can be a minority. Like no, like if it's at a 10 or a 7, regardless though, I'm just not gonna forgive it though. It's gonna be whatever. And I do acknowledge that. No, if somebody we do forgive though, I don't think. And I feel like the average person. To your point, I feel I have all this built up tears inside and shit like that, whatever. I think the average person who does harp on things, it tend to weigh them down.
100%.
I think that this average person where you're suppressing things, where I don't really suppress.
I don't think I never got the vibe that it weighs you down. I got the vibe that it's just no empathy there. Like it's no. So that's so.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
And before we do, I do got a gift. I got a gift for you.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, I got to take care of my kids. So what type of
thanks.
father figure would I be to the streets?
Early Father's Day?
If I didn't. You said you were extra large, right?
Yeah.
So give my man
the Rockefeller chain.
Hey, welcome to the family, man.
Appreciate it, sir.
Give me a handshake.
No.
Yeah, man. That's cool. I came bearing gifts for everybody, though.
Scott's good, man.
Ricky, you looked like a large.
Oh, my God.
Man, fuck that nigga. Get on your side.
Throw that to Ricky. Give my boy Ricky one.
Hey,
Come in
shit.
uniform next week, nigga. That was a horrible throw. We know Q never played any sport whatsoever. But now I bought another shirt for you. This just one for the nostalgic of the brand. You feel
Appreciate
me?
it, sir.
Yeah, so
About your empathy smut.
I'm not gonna smut your rep, but ultimately, so the thing is, I really just want to get to the root of it. So it's like, what in your mind, you know what I mean, or in your action or whatever the case may be, just makes you detach from, certain things that would normally solicit an emotional response from, the average person.
Yeah, so I think it's again, like, I always think about the idea of nature versus nurture, and I can only land on this particular conversation where I'm more so on the nature side, where more so like my dad in this regard, where like 10s to 2s, many things aren't 10s to us. So just how I am, unfortunately, sometimes it's hard for me to be able to like process the information someone's trying to convey 10 type of information to me, but I just don't deem it that deep to me. Yeah. However, of course, just being a grown ass man, just understanding, just talk about the relationship aspect of it, just being a grown ass man, just understanding women, shit like that, like, cool, like, all right, like, what? And again, I'm also duty bound. I'm just a duty bound person. So it's like, all right, cool, like, if this what you care about, this what you want to do, whatever, as long as you approach me in the right way, as long as you're just fucking losing your fucking mind, whatever, all right, cool, I'll get this done, we'll work on it, whatever. Like, and also feel like what keeps me balanced and being able to have good relationships and not be some fucking sociopath is I'll just have good intentions, though. Yeah. I feel like even though I may not have the best empathy balance of things, whatever, I'm also just not an asshole. I have good intentions with everybody I know, whatever. So even if I may just be and not have the same emotional compatibility or inclinations with people to connect in certain ways, it's kind of just like, that's your business, but cool. I'm never going to dismiss your emotions if I care about you, whatever. But I don't really be on the same level as that. So I think I just how I naturally am. And back to who I'm also big on hypocrisy. I also just automatically default function look at shit of just like, would I care about that? Or I go about it that way? So if you going by it that way to me, I just like brain shut down mode. Like, yeah.
So do you think you got the capacity to view things from someone else's perspective authentically?
Yes.
So what does that process look like for you?
So the process looks like to me, so let's say I did something wrong. If you say, so if I actually went through a situation on my job recently where I did something to like try to make the situation better, and corporate always gonna be a corporate asshole, shit like that, whatever. So I kind of stepped into mediate situation, whatever, but they ain't like one part of the situation I did, whatever. So when they was responding to me, I was like, no, I totally understand how you see it from your way. Like I see how from your vantage point, this looks like this. But all I can tell you is the reason why I did it, and this how I meant it, the intention. So I can see things from other people's sides, but so the first part is I can see it from your side. So I get it. I see things from multiple perspectives all the time, whatever. But then how you go about it though, Tim, that's where you lose me. So whether you just going at me crazy, whatever, or snapping out, or just being super emotional or hyper dramatic about it, I'm just like, okay, but if you want that, yeah, okay, like the way you said, I didn't really like that. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. Why, like, I didn't mean it that way. And I feel like most things, because they aren't that deep to me, we can just discuss it, talk about it, and then just kind of move on. But then once it's like more than that, that's when now I get to the mode of like, well, I don't really give a fuck then.
Yeah, so I don't think that. To what I'm saying, right? I think that cool. I understood. Everything you're saying makes logical sense, but I'm not sure if you understand what I mean when I say see it authentically from their perspective. I'm talking about it would require you to almost embody the emotions that they feel.
Okay, fair enough.
So if you still at the end of it saying you don't really give a fuck, you never gave a fuck to begin with.
No, if it go to a certain point.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if at any point.
Okay, fair. Okay,
if at any point you can arrive at I don't really give a fuck, that's the whole. Them telling us to, the black community get over slavery and, black people want reparations conversation in a nutshell, because it's like, yeah, we get it. I understand. I would feel that way, but you don't really feel that way because you're not even really attaching you have to think about if you were them and it was something that was a 10 to you, not the 10 that's presented, but the 10 that's for you, you're 10 and somebody doing it to you, and how you would feel. And then you apply the logic of everything else, their approach, because you're like, okay, if a 10 to me is I buy myself a bag of chips, I know it's just chips. To somebody else, it might not be that big a deal, but I don't eat chips as much. I had a chip addiction, as you admitted. You had a chip addiction.
I have a problem.
And you had this bag of chips that you ate. You come home completely empty, no crumb, no nothing. Your daughter got chips all in her hand. Your girl
get the belt.
So, but. Everybody in the house is looking at you like you crazy. I don't want to use that word. Looking at you like you're, overreacting because you like, yo, I was really looking forward to that. And they just like, oh, it's not that deep. I can go get you some more chips.
Right.
It don't matter that you can replace it. Right. It matters that you even thought to do it. So when you associate how you would feel and whatever you did, then you can see why they feel that way.
Right.
Now, the approach is the logical, mature thing. That's where it comes like, listen, I understand how because you said, I understand how you can view it that way. No. Empathy is, I understand how you can feel that way. Because now I'm not just talking about your perspective. I'm talking about how you feel about your perspective. Like, it's like when somebody say, yeah, y'all young boys out here causing destruction for senseless violence. But to him, it's a purpose because he loved the person that was harmed, and he felt like it was his duty to avenge or protect. And even if the person up here still feel like it's senseless, to this person, it's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you think about it, it's like, to me, it is a 2. But to them, it's a 10. Let me understand the 10. And in my approach, when I'm delivering my feedback or whatever the case may be, I'm acknowledging their 10. And I'm staying there while bringing them down to a 2.
I received that, and we touched on it before, and I will admit that I do not see things from other people's perspectives authentically.
Yeah.
I do not do that because my brain can't see, because my brain literally looks at, I have a scale of things and everything in life, and certain things I'm gonna give a fuck who's saying it, how you describing it. This shit is not a 10, so there's nothing you can say or do to me to make me say, all right, this is a 10 to you, so I'm gonna approach it in that manner. We're gonna, like, everything you said is facts and valid. I totally get it, but I can admit I can't do that, at least to this day.
Right now.
Yeah, so,
that's the first step is awareness.
Yeah, that's the work.
Yeah.
But
we make it aware.
So up until today, I'm going to just say, I feel like what keeps me from not just being a sociopath is like, all right, in my brain, this is not a 10. This is not a 10. But it's like, all right, cool. Like, all right, let's say I ate her chips. All right, I ate your chips. Like, want to go to the store real quick? I'll go to the store, and I feel like I don't try to go my way to just be like an asshole. If like everything you're saying don't matter, so like I'll fix it. I'll try to go in solution mode.
So how would you feel if something meant something to you and your partner, your fiance, continuously just said I'll fix it? At some point you're like, I would just rather you not do it.
For sure, but
then fix it.
But no woman fixes things. Like they literally just like keep doing the same shit over and over again. Like
Again, but to you,
that's like how I feel every single day. Because women don't fix shit.
But so you know how you feel
for sure.
So eventually you accepted that that's just what it is.
Right.
But for somebody who hasn't arrived at that point, instead of you saying, "Oh, I'll just fix it," how about just not do it?
That's fair.
So, but only way you cannot do it is if you understand. So it's like, and again, this comes from a lot of self work. This is hundreds of books. This is thousands of hours of personal development, hundreds of hours in therapy and stuff like that. So it's not like this is like an overnight process. Yeah. But we starting the process by
and it's important to have conversations because anybody to hear and listen.
100%. Because again, a lot of people may be where you are trying to get to where I'm at in terms of personal development in these areas.
And or they could be where I'm at and be like, yo, like, I feel heard. Like that's he's speaking to me and like
I don't give a fuck what the Wolf.
Yeah, like Wolf, he making points, but like fuck that shit.
Yeah, I'm still keeping it. I'm staying where I'm at.
Yeah, so you know.
But 100%, yeah. But I just feel like just try exercise to do that. Like what I have to do is I ask myself, if this were me, what would it take to get me this mad? And when I get that thought in my head, I can attach to the emotion. Like, okay, I can see how you feel and I can understand why you feel that way. But, then I apply whatever you're saying or whatever. And I'm not saying but to offset what I said before. I'm just saying, like, in addition to that, okay, this is how we approach it. And then I'll even ask, like, well, how do you suppose I approach it? Like, what would be better for you? Because now I'm thinking about how you feel. It's like, all right, well, I can't give you the answer that's in your mind. So I'm going to ask you. Then you might say, yo, I don't like how you said that. So instead of me trying to explain what I meant by what I said, I'm going to ask, well, how do you prefer I go about it?
Right.
Like, what would have been a better approach for me to take when dealing with you? Because now I'll know moving forward for it not to happen again. And you know what happened? You feel heard. You feel validated. You feel understood. And you feel like the next time if it happened, it has to be intentional. Or it's a subconscious habit that I have to work through. But you know that it's not one of them things where we not in alignment with what happened.
And working on it.
You know what I mean?
I like that. That brings to my other point, shout out to Wolf, man. This guy's good.
I'm a billing for this because she's still in coaching sessions.
Speaking of billing, you are a certified relationship counselor.
Coach,
I'm sorry. I went and got my certification, like I said on my story, like you appreciate. So I'm certified in 48 states. Every state except Alaska and Massachusetts. And
so just fuck balls.
Yeah, fuck ball. Who gives a fuck about balls? And fuck out here. I was so the work. I was like, no, like instead of working on myself, because I'm good. Like, but I realized everybody else needs work. So I'm like, no, Wolf inspired me, but no, I need to give out work.
Right.
That's what I need to do.
Fuck my issues.
I'm aligned. But like, I know exactly what I need to do with life, but everybody else don't. So I came across, I wrote a book. We got the manuscript. It didn't get printed yet though. So it's coming. I don't got a title. It's untitled, but it's actually a very short book. But it's basically just about like women trying to figure out their relationship so it can be progressive. 3-step program, So it's the 3 steps is if a woman like, yo, I feel like the relationship not working, this not doing this, it ain't da. It's like, all right, cool, no problem. Look in the mirror, look at yourself. All right, this is what you can do. Step 1. I'll take accountability, yes. So step 1.
There's a mirror.
Yeah, step 1. How much do you suck dick? And it's a very simple equation and question and answer. So whatever you do, do it more. Because you should be like looking on average like, all right, I may suck dick whenever you can pussy or whatever, this and that, da. But it's like, no, bare minimum, and don't just get it hard. No, bare minimum, craziest A1 Valentine anniversary birthday celebration head you can possibly conjure up. 2 times minimum a week. Bare minimum. That means some weeks is more. Some weeks is every day. It is like that. Some weeks is twice on Sunday. Just because. So the bare minimum is twice a week. So let's say you might be like, no, I'm an eater, Q. Like that ain't nothing to me. That's easy work. All right, cool. All right, let's look at step 2 then. So step 2 is going to be cooking. So I know a lot of times it's very casual and cool to say, yeah, I'm cooking. We got this and Instacart and DoorDash. Is all right, cool. Bet. Say like, if it ain't working out, you didn't analyze your cooking habits and measurements and methods and frequency. Bare minimum, 3 times a week. Nothing less. Sometimes it should be more. Sometimes it should be every day. Sometimes twice on Sunday. So the bare minimum of you cooking in the week, 3 times a week. And let's say you say, I'm an eater and a cooker. Then it's like, well, damn, all right, this is a good girl. It's a good sister right here. All right, why is it not working out? All right, let's look at step 3. We only on page 3 of the book. It's a very short book. And then it's like, all right, do you shut the fuck up enough? Because literally that's the final step. So if you are a cooker, a eater, are you a shutter upper? And then it's like, all right, however much you shut up, can you afford to shut up 50% more. Can you do it? Because possibly you don't shut the fuck up at all. So if you just cut it down to 50% in total, you have a whole new woman, a whole new positive relationship. So if you are the rare woman that is a cooker, a eater, and a shutter-upper, and that relationship still not working out, I have news for you, ladies. You with the wrong nigga. So you need to cut him immediately, drop him fast, block his mom, block his sister, block all his friends, block his Instagram, so there's no contact to you, and move on and find the right man. Because there is no man that is a cooker, eater, and a shutter-upper that doesn't treat her like the queen, mother nature of the world. And 4-page book is all you need to know, whatever. If you do those
Authored
things.
by you?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like
First copy going to your
literally all you
fiance.
need to do, whatever, and literally you have the best relationship ever.
Is the first copy going to your fiance?
Oh, yeah. She all right. Yeah, we wrote this shit together. Yeah,
So she's with the program.
Co-author for sure. Yeah. So it's like if it ain't working, call me in the morning. I guarantee it's gonna work, whatever. But if it ain't working, wrong nigga.
Understood.
Can't lose formula.
One thing that Q said to Q's philosophy, right? Q the philosopher, the last step in his 3-step program is an essential piece to a healthy relationship.
Very essential.
Now, a
Arguably
lot
the
of
most essential.
when us men tell ladies to shut the fuck up, right? Plain and simple, it's not saying don't have a voice. It's not saying don't have an opinion. It's saying know when to use your voice and know when to voice your opinion. Because sometimes it's best to just say nothing, and that will be the betterment of your relationship in that one element alone. No matter how much you cook it, no matter how. Sometimes because your words are powerful and your tongue can cut like a sword. You can either be using your words to destroy your man, or you could be building them up. And I always say, man, I say this directly to my girl. You got to understand, man, when you look at this relationship, look at it like a garden. Are you watering the garden, or are you pissing on the garden? Because both of them are a fucking liquid. But one of them is going to get you results that show exponential growth, and the other one is going to damage everything that it touches. And it's like, if you can't see negative talk as piss, then you're not going to think that is okay. Now, I'm not talking about constructive criticism that makes the relationship better. We're talking about destructive criticism, which is the piss part of it. So when you're talking to your partner, man or woman, but I say this to ladies because in most of the time, I've heard through coaching and everything, and women say it themselves. Yeah, I said da-da-da-da. I'm like, you said what? That's why that nigga mad. Like, you understand what I'm saying? That's why your man is feeling the way he's feeling. Well, what about when he say this to me? Don't fight fire with fire. Don't get into a pissing war. Literally, hold him accountable. How I'm going to do that? By pointing out that he just said X, Y, and Z, and you didn't even say it in return. So he's completely on the hot seat, and you did nothing wrong. Now he owes you flowers, a date, and whatever else that you might require to get out of the doghouse. You understand what I'm saying? So, Q the philosopher with a hell of a gym.
Appreciate that, King.
Sound like a read that I feel like I understand the concept of it, so I pretty much feel like I get the book. But make sure y'all go get it.
For sure, yeah. Whenever it drops, definitely let everybody know. And also, one thing about you said as well, I feel to even add a little more nugget in that sentiment. Yeah, because, we fighting fire or fire type shit, whatever. Unless that nigga is just like a sociopath, crazy ass nigga. For the most part, if y'all fighting fire, he gonna lose. So that's another thing where it's like, once the girl get activated, you done took it to the next level. So it's like, your fire just way more lethal.
You can't win. It's literally like ordained that they know how to use them words. That tongue is different. And no, for a woman, that ain't pause. Yeah, because I thought about that too. Their tongue is different. Like, I thought about that. Trust me. Like, wait, that was crazy. That big, y'all hyper sexualizing the context of what I'm saying, man. Ultimately, what I'm saying is, yeah, bro, you better off not. Just remove yourself. I can't win an argument. I don't call my girl the B word. I don't do none of that now. When I was younger, I was like my first relationship. But now that I'm a grown man and I see things a little differently, I literally, I might go a higher volume, might go more bass. But the substance of what I'm saying is never going to be disrespectful.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, now I might throw a cuss word in there. What the fuck is you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's never going to be fuck you, you dumbass.
Right.
Because I understand that I don't want the piss on her garden either.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I try to, and I always make sure that when we go through our little disagreements, I make sure we recollect. Yo, I'll never call you out your name. I'll never say nothing disrespectful. Like, she might say, oh, but you be raising your voice, but that's not disrespectful. I might get passionate, but that's not disrespectful. Like, it's not like I'm listen to what I'm saying when I'm raising my voice. I'm not raising my voice, bitch, shut up. I'm raising my voice and I might be like, yo, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? I'm confused at fucking where we at with this.
Yeah, I'm big on that. And again, like, as kind contrary to popular belief, even though I say bitch a lot, I'll never call someone I care about.
Yeah, we talked about it on camera. I held him accountable.
And I did it one time ever in a relationship years ago, and I regret it ever since.
Yeah,
that was my first relationship, and I said it's funny 'cause I was pushed though, because we was having an argument, this and that, and I was like, you acting like dumb. I was like, no, let me relax. And then she's like, oh, I'm like a what? A dumb what? This and that. And I was like, yo, chill. Like I'm not about to. And she just kept pushing, and I was like, well, yeah, like a dumb bitch then. Like I was like, I had to go there. Then relationship never the same. Really went down.
I bet. That's the only thing she remembered out of everything. He called me a bitch. That's all you remember? Out of 4 years of me being X, Y, and Z, you can only remember the one time I used the word to be.
And the lesson
think about that, though. They will hold on to it.
Yep, lesson was, I was right, but it wasn't the right decision.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because even when you're right, you could be wrong. Like, that's one of the moments where you just got to live with being right. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not proving to you that I'm right. You know I'm right. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing I want to tell y'all, man.
Talking shit.
Don't go out your way to prove that somebody is a liar, that they a cheater, that they being manipulative. Wholeheartedly understand that people know who they are. You understand what I'm saying? So while you are running yourself into a hole trying to prove to somebody, I want to catch them in a lie. Don't you know that they told the lie? So they know it's a lie? The only information you need is enough to feel comfortable with your decision to walk away. But do not run yourself into the ground trying to get that person to acknowledge their lie. They are taking it to the grave. This is why they are lying. Imagine somebody being in an interrogation room for a crime that's going to get them a lot of time. Do you think that they're going to admit to it? No, because an admission of guilt would create a long-term ramification that they don't want to deal with. So, of course, I'm going to say you crazy. Of course, I'm going to say you don't know what you're talking about. Of course, I'm going to say you delusional. Of course, I'm going to say you're trying to manipulate me and all of the other different gaslighting terms that they done created in today's society, all in the attempt to do what? Protect myself. So when you think about it, don't go out your way to prove that somebody lying and cheating and doing anything of the sort. If you have enough to feel comfortable with your decision to walk away, live with that as your fact and your truth, and allow them to live with the guilt that they know they have without trying to make you feel crazy in the process.
That boy good.
Yeah. So as we land the plane on this episode, I talked about the book I wanted to talk about, which was Atomic Habits. It's something I'm currently reading. Check it out if you haven't. Also check out my book, Cheating is Not Cheating, and the Art of Accountability. Check out Q's book, The Philosophy on a Healthy Relationship by Uncertified Certified Relationship Coach in 48 states. That excludes Alaska and Massachusetts. And co-authored by his fiance.
For sure.
Illustrated by his daughter. Nice cover art.
For sure. Way better than Father Dogs.
Yeah.
Way
she used crayons. It was extremely cute.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. But all in all, tell me what you've been watching or reading or, give us one.
Yeah, so I'm a doc whore. So my latest...
He say this every week, man.
So my latest doc I watched. It's funny. I actually had like a nice little thought about this. I was watching something on Netflix called Homicide New York, whatever. And, it's very commonplace now to say fuck the cop. Well, it's always been, but I feel like even more now since all the cop murder shit. It's very common like fuck the cops. Cops dumb as shit. They don't do shit, whatever. Which is true a lot of times. Cops really don't do shit. They really do be assholes and bum ass niggas. So that's fair. However, this documentary was cool because it mainly also highlighted detective work in certain major cases that detectives dealt with, whatever. And I thought it was a nice little propaganda package to show that, of course, like not every cop is an asshole, and also not every cop is fucking lethal weapon ass greatest cop ever, whatever. But also shows like no, but these things are necessary though. Like when certain crimes happen, and especially fucking heinous, super wild crimes, like no, like detective work, like a lot of fucking work, and the people that actually do the job properly, they are actually passionate about this work and they fucking save lives and bring closure to people's families and shit like that, whatever. So it was cool seeing these crazy stories illustrated over time and like just shows like the real cause I feel like we so used to people just do that shit and they just be assholes. Oh, this is just a job, dude. Or you just need therapy. You just a cop just be an asshole. People know like some people, maybe far between these days, they are still passionate about like law enforcement, and those like people are needed in the world because without the law and order shit'll be even wilder than the fucking is. So that was what I had watching it.
One thing I want to say before we wrap up is one thing that I will commend you for, right? I feel like even if, like you say, like you don't really have a empathetic capacity and all that cool stuff, which we will work on each episode little by little, because I don't think it's a one-day process. Okay. I fuck with the fact. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. All right, cool. I fuck with the fact that I feel like you are self-aware enough to be okay with who you are in a world that tries to tell you who to be. And I feel like not enough men, specifically women, of course, too, but I'm just speaking to the men, know themselves well enough to be okay with having a fuck you perspective on things that mean nothing to me. Because a lot of men try to change who they are to be accepted by women and society. And of course, this was something that was more prevalent in women, like in the beginning of time, to try to gain acceptance, which it still exists. But now it has become a trend for men to try to alter who they are, what they see. Like, men don't even carry an authentic male perspective no more. Niggas is scared to admit that they are men, essentially. It's like, nigga, this is how we think and operate. It's like it gets so attacked to where though men don't even want to appear to be men no more. Then it shows up in the other behavior, and now the women are like, men don't want to be men. Well, y'all didn't bash everything that a man do, so you have to be so okay within yourself as a man and comfortable with yourself to show up as a man nowadays, knowing that it's going to come with some ridicule, especially someone who has an opinion that can be as absurd as yours sometimes. Like, you know, like just flat out, like, fuck you. Like, but at the end of the day, that's why it's a testament, because I hope that a young nigga watching, even if he don't want to be like you, he understand how you are in a way that's like, Q is not about to go into a room and change who he is to fit the room. He's going to be himself in a room, has to adjust to who he is.
Absolutely.
And I'm the same way, but at the same time, I just wanted to acknowledge it in you in your own way, because again, I feel like even when I first got in my relationship, it was like one of them thoughts where it's like everybody had this expectation on how men's supposed to be. I don't give a fuck what they talking about. I'm who I am. I've been who I am. And I'm definitely, with all due respect, not taking how a man's supposed to be from a woman who never walked a day in the shoes or even had the mind of a man to even understand why we do certain things. So I think that more men should embrace who they are, and women will embrace you for that. Just get rid of your bad habits. Don't womanize. You know what I mean? Don't go looking at women for what they could do for you. Look at women for what you could do for them. And, you know, allow God to allow the reciprocity to be applied to the situation. You know what I mean? Focus on being a better leader. Focus on things that make you better. You're going to attract a better quality woman. But if you sit here trying to figure out what they want before you become who you are, you become a chef that caters and serves them, and you never become somebody that's actually who you are for yourself. It's like they putting in the order, oh, I want a man that do this. Now you doing that, and you're not even being you. So I feel like whether we're talking about relation, it's not sustainable because not you. You're going to always revert back to who you are by nature. So if you're trying to act like, that's why being honest with yourself is so important. You know, some men don't want to be monogamous. Some men is like, you know what, I need multiple. And that's why they created other variations to relationships to adhere to those types of men. Versus you saying, I'm only committed to you, knowing damn well you want to go home and go outside and get some pussy from somebody else. No, like, be who you are, be okay with it, and allow that woman to choose to fuck with you or not fuck with you. But to tie it back to what I was saying in regards to you, I feel like whether relationships, parenting, you like solid and, you know, your approach to being cute. So don't change. Even through this work that I'm trying to influence you to do, because I got to just use the influence word. I'm trying to push, motivate, and influence you to do, because I do feel like it can make you a better, more refined Q. But I would be mad if I came here one day and you weren't Q. Because it's like that asshole dynamic that you keep denying that you clearly have is why people probably fuck with you and don't fuck with you. Because it's like, man, even that could be the very thing that your fiance love about you. Like, he's an asshole, but you're her asshole. Pause like a motherfucker. But y'all get what I'm saying. All in all.
But sure, no, I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my close friends just last night, whatever. We had a long ass conversation about all type of shit, whatever. You know, she's a woman, you know, a little older with kids, whatever. And I was saying, you know, just to sum it up, whatever, I definitely give, you know, of course I have my dad and my stepdad in my life, whatever. But I definitely give a lot of credit to my mom. Like, you know, she was that, and I see, it's funny just seeing it now with my daughter, her grandchild, whatever, where, like, no, she's just very intentional about, like, no, like, you the best. Like, nobody look better than you. You the smartest. You did this. Anything you can do, you can do it. Do it. If they said you didn't do it right, did you do it your best? Then you did it right then. And like, she always instilled that type of shit, whatever. You know, a while ago, my girl told me, she like, yeah, like, no, I admire how your mom raised you, because I can see now that my parents didn't really instill all that foundation.
Yeah, my mom was like that with me as well.
Shit into me, whatever. So like, it can be at certain times during my life, where her speaking, where she didn't feel as confident or as secure and shit like that, whatever. Whereas like, and again, I think my dad balanced me out, because like, you know, you let my mom tell it, nobody look better than her, nobody look better than her grandchild, nobody look better than me. It's just we the smartest, best looking niggas ever created type shit, whatever. But I feel my dad balanced me out, where it's like, I don't necessarily think I'm the best, baddest, tallest, whatever, smartest nigga, whatever, but no one can ever make me think I'm lesser than what I am. That's impossible. So good. I don't gotta think I'm the best at anything, but you're never gonna make me think I'm lesser than who the fuck I think I am, or anything for real. So yeah, so I definitely think that's important for anybody, man or woman, especially men today's time, whatever. I always say that I'm just a black man. I'm speaking to black men. So like, no, as you were saying, like, be unapologetically who you are, as long as it's positive and genuine and authentic. Be that no matter what.
Yeah.
Fuck the rest.
No, 100%. I love that. And to your point, man, my mom was somebody that poured into me a lot as well, my confidence. And you need women. That's what go back to the piss or the water in the garden. The first garden from a woman that is watered is our mom. So how they speak to us, that really instilled our confidence in how we deal with the world and women. Because in a large part, women have a high influence on the behavior of men, and vice versa. So it's like if your mom telling you you handsome, if your mom telling you you're smart, you believe these things about yourself the same way if your mom telling you dumb, you can't get nothing right. So ladies, if you got sons and you raising them alone, or with a part-time parent, be very adamant about and intentional about speaking life into your boys. That could be the difference between him becoming a street nigga who gets accepted by the streets who tell him he that nigga ain't got to fuck a bunch of girls to be validated, or somebody that feel like he respect women because his mom always respected him. Like my mom raised me to be a gentleman, even though I still turned out to be the street nigga that did all the other shit too. But that had nothing to do with
It's
her.
not 100% foolproof.
Yeah, nothing 100% foolproof. I had to go find my own self. But ultimately, when it came to, because I was born premature, because I had health complications as a young, all through my childhood, I was born with this nose. I had a lot of self-confidence issues as a kid, getting teased. My mom was very adamant about making sure that she let me know, son, can't nobody stop you. You could do it, whatever. And like the one thing I like that you said was, as long as you did your best. I think that's important too. As a mom speaking to her son, make him feel rewarded for doing his best, even if he come up short.
For sure.
And hold him accountable when he don't do his best. Like you don't want to. Sometimes when men grow up around a lot of women, they get told they handsome, they cute. Now they get entitled because it's like, I've been getting women attention my whole life. Girls just supposed to throw themselves at me. But if you do it in moderation, or he have a balance of another male figure, father, or whatever, that can offset some of that overly inflation of the ego that can come from being overly poured into from a bunch of women, then you'll end up good,
And I add one more thing as well, where of course all that like positive reinforcement, just energy and manifestation is also important, but also the work is back to the work.
Yes.
Where like it's funny seeing it, now with my daughter, and of course like I'm approaching certain things different, whatever, because I just I'm a different person, my mom. But like end of the day, like my mom was pouring. Like you reading, I'm reading to you every day. You writing book reports, all this type of shit, whatever. You want to put African Center School because I don't want to see no white bitches in your life, and this and that. And you going to African Center School from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then you going to this and a
casually suck the word bitch in there. It's crazy. But go ahead.
You going to the master, what's it called, the Magnet High School, and then we're gonna pay for college, this that. So it was always about I'm making sure you have the most security and confidence as possible, but also nigga, no, like you ain't about to be a dumbass nigga, you ain't about to be a lazy ass nigga, you about to be a disciplined person, and you also not about to be a liar, you're not about to be a bad person. So I feel all those type of things all those type of intangibles and physical things are important to just building up just a solid human being. And then the rest can kind of figure itself out, whatever. I don't necessarily believe in also, because that also can go into all right, now I deal with this shit. Now just be Barack Obama. Like if you ain't that, then you a failure. It's it's like you pour as much as you can, and then it's like no, then they accept that they're individual, and then because they individual, they gonna live their life. Because then it's funny when it goes back to she did all that shit, all that like reinforcing who I am. Now we disagree about things. She be like, it's like she be really trying to say like, who the fuck taught you to be so confident on your unpopular opinions? Like, why don't you agree with me right now? It's like, nigga. So pour into your kids and then let them be them individual, and the rest gonna figure itself out.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say, just to land a plane, something that I felt like you said that was key in regards to it was right before that last line you spoke on. You was talking about
being a good person.
Oh yeah, that part. Thank you so much. So yeah, just laying a framework for being a good person as a parent. That's all we could do. I can raise my kids to not lie, discipline them when they lie. I can't stop them from being liars when they grow up. I can raise them to have morals and values and standards, but how they uphold those morals, values, and standards is going to be conditional to the environment they put themselves in and it's discipline that they have within themselves. But as parents, all we got to do is lay the framework.
Right.
All you got to do is outline what that should look like, insert the morals and the principles and the values that you would like to teach and instill into them, and understand that they're going to have a bunch of other teachers in life that's going to try to challenge those morals, values, and standards, and they're going to have to work through it. But if they utilize the framework that you gave them, then they should turn out a pretty decent human being. That's all, like what he just said. We're trying to create decent human beings, and we're going to leave it there, man. We wrapping up another episode, the Wolf Has Spoken podcast, Wolf WSC, my guy right on Q Live.
Yes, sir.
And we got Ricky B on the back, in the back on the camera. So until next time, we see y'all, man. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, become a member. And yeah, man, we tapped in. Hopefully you learned something. 1% better. Wolf Has Spoken.
Always.